I'm here with Matt, and today we're going to be talking about farming and the climate. Take it away, Matt.
Well, sure, buddy. Sure, I'm a man here farming, and sure, we're looking for a bit of weather. I'm looking for a bit of weather to make a few bales for sheep, and I can't get the weather. And sure, the whole job is devastating this farmer this year. And I wonder why this weather has to get worse and worse every year. And I'm beginning to think here, and actually thought about it, and I think maybe it's not the weather that's wrong, it's the people that's wrong. Now I know there's a lot of good living people in the country, but there's another type of people in the country, and I'm not accusing any man of any situation, but there's such a thing as bad living. And I'm a man, I always go by the law of the land. And if you go by the law of the land, in my opinion, maybe every man will do what he knows is right. And if he's man enough, if he doesn't know what's right, a man has a brain and he uses thinking to know. And if you think about it, you might know about it, and then you could go ahead and do what you know is right about it, and everything will be all right. Would you agree?
I would, certainly. And how would I go about learning that, Matt?
Well, sure, I'll tell you now. The law of the land, I'm going to tell you what it is, and maybe people will understand and get their acting perspective. The law of the land always said, people is number one, prioritised. Animals is number two. Land is number three. Provides for all, provided you handle it right. It's as good or as bad as the man that handles it. Or a woman, even so. There's a lot of young lassies out there farming, I see them. And the best of luck to them. And any young lad is that. But I have a feeling that there's a lot of factors there. There's morals. Now, I'd like to think I'm a plain talking man. I square deal, I say plain talking, square dealing, good principles, and I'd like to think I have real high morals. Now I mean real high morals. I think that makes a man. And if he hasn't that, he hasn't much. Do you understand that?
I understand it completely.
That's the way I feel about it. And like I mean, people, you have to consider they're number one, and they're human beings. And as far as I can understand, they're entitled to act like human beings. They're not entitled to act like dogs. They're entitled to do their job well and try and do whatever they do in life, do it honourably. Like if they marry and whatever they do, marry and raise a family, I understand, and my opinion is to try and do what they know is right by them. Grow them strong and straight, and nourish them, and give them good advice and explain and tell them how to react in life and to think about it for the right reasons. To make honourable men. Tell them that as they go along. So that when they go out in the world, they'll know how to respect the world and the people in it. Especially, we'll take a man. If he's a man, he'll treat a man and a woman, as far as I understand, the man is the stronger sex and the woman is the weaker sex. And a young lad, he should know he's entitled to treat the woman with respect. And the woman is entitled to treat a man with respect. Meaning, a woman needs to have respect for herself. Dignity is a very important thing. Do you understand?
I do.
She has to have respect and dignity for her. And she shouldn't, or a man shouldn't act like a dog. He should, if he wants the woman, he should, well, I suppose in Ireland they call it courting her, and studying her and looking at her and loving her and cherishing her, and then go on to marrying her. And doing the right thing by it. That's what I'd say. Do what you know is right and everything will work out. And rear the family like you said. That'd be my understanding of it. But it seemed to me we've lost a good lad of that. And the cart is before the horse. And it's a disgrace. And we have other problems. We have problems of rape and murder, and there's no justice. Rape a young lassie, take away what she is and all she had and all she's going to have. And it's disgraceful. And there's no justice to justify and put this lad to right. They may let him out on the street again and he may re-offend, but I'll have to explain this now in another fashion. If the evidence is admissibly done, he's entitled to be punished. I stand by a man could be wrongly accused too, but you have to have admissible evidence. And you have to give fair play in every situation. So that's a part of it anyhow. And young people, that's what you do with them, you grow them strong. But if you do anything different, you turn into a dog. And as far as I know, a saying said, if you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas. I've heard it said, I think it was in the Bible, I'm not a religious man, I'm religious, but maybe not as good as I should be. You know, do you understand that? But I'll try going further about it. The animals thing. Well, we'll go back on that there I'll go a bit further on that. And if a man does a thing like that, forces himself on a woman or whatever he does, and she lets him have it, or if she's looking for it, and the situation is apparently around the country when you know a woman is weak and a fella goes after her, and he may be a married man and he doesn't care about his wife and he's lustful and he goes after another woman and he gets it and he has no feelings for his wife. Sure, it's sinful. And vice versa. It's a hurt. He starts to hurt everyone that loves him. Would you not think so?
Oh, true.
Like, I'd say now, that's my opinion of it. And he causes a whole trail of destruction. And he leaves a lot of people seriously unhappy. You know, there's different sins, and that's the sin of lust. Lust. There's only one place you go with lust, and that's the hell. It's a sinful thing. Looking for pleasure without working up to it. Courting the lass and taking her out and looking at her and pleasuring yourself looking at her, and it's like a flower. It's like a flower in the field. If you come along and you see a lovely flower, I seen one to myself. It's like a flower. And you look at it, and it's a lovely flower here. And you have good luck, and you say, that's a beautiful flower. I'd like to have that flower. But the way it is, if you take from that flower, you take away what it is that is so precious. And it ceases to live. If you leave it there and look at it, it'll give you pleasure. But if you pull it, it'll never be the same. It'll never have the same life. It's heading for hell. And you don't want to do something with that you love. Would you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a situation about a lovely flower I met. And loved the flower, looked at the flower, talked to the flower. Thought a lot of it, thought the world of the flower. It was something that it just excited me. So I seen the flower once a year, every year. I always watched that flower to appear. And it appeared and it excited me and I looked at it and I treasured it. And I seen it every year. But it missed a year. And I didn't see it. and it broke me heart. But someone took away that flower. Took from that flower. I knew that flower never was the same. But in all different circumstances, the flower always made a good point to come and visit me and reappear to me every year. And I enjoyed it. And I pleasured myself just looking at it. I thought it was a great relationship I had. It was something that money couldn't buy. It was something a man could be happy with. I've probably lost that flower. Maybe I didn't look after that flower. But maybe it's my fault, and maybe it's not. And maybe the flower tried too hard to please me and was in too much of a hurry. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be honourable. I'm an honourable man. I feel I'm an honourable man. I'd like to do the things, do what you know is right, and everything will work out, and the situation will be perfect. You understand?
Yeah.
So maybe that'll help some young fella that meets a lovely flower. And I miss that flower. You understand?
I do.
I miss it terribly. And I try to get it back, and I do my best. And I explained all I done for this flower to make it happy. In a place it was happy. In a place it was happy. I even bought the place it was happy, just as a present for this flower. So it had come to this place. I'd done the best I could. But it didn't. She tried. This flower tried too hard and wasn't able to obtain, because apparently this flower got jealous, and maybe other situations come along with it, and the thing went out of hand, and the situation got me a bit. I got a bit angry with this flower. Maybe I raised my voice too much, and maybe I told too much of the truth. Maybe I told this flower, you didn't go the right way about obtaining what you want. That's the way it is. And you do destruction to everyone you love. And I say to this flower here today, the best thing to do, you're in a hole, you're confused, you're in hell, you're not in heaven. If you were in this place, maybe you'd be in heaven. This place you loved, you could call it heaven. You always did. But the fact of the matter is, you have to rise out of that depth, that hole. You have to work your way out. And you have to go down to the priest in the local area, wherever you are. And you have to say, Father, I need, there's a need here to make a good confession. And I need to have a good Mass, and I need to receive the Holy Eucharist for my sins, for my lust. And that's what I need to do. And you do that, and the thing that you cleanse yourself. A woman, or a flower, or whatever it is, has lost her dignity. She has lost all she had because someone took it away. She's lost her dignity, her respect, her vanity. All's in hell, and it's no place to be. And out of hell, there's no redemption. Bar, cleanse yourself. Go to the priest. Have a good Mass. Receive the Holy Eucharist. He's the boss. He's the real boss. You understand that?
I do.
Oh. Do you understand?
That's 100%.
You know,
yeah.
And we're human beings, and we shouldn't act like that. And we have a big amount of suicides and on account of that. And if people done the thing a bit better and just say, God, the law of the land. If I obeyed the law of the land, I might be a better man. And if I research the commandments, there's always commandments. And if you do all that in your own self, you'll be the first commandment. Now look it up. The first commandment is, I'll tell you what the first one is. There is more. The first commandment is, I am the Lord thy God, and I will not bear false gods before you. That's what you say to yourself. If you're a man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a man, I'll go further out in the law of the land, and I'll try and maybe enlighten people that's farming, and I will say again, there's a lot of good, decent people. There's always good, decent people. And there's always people that'll do wrong, maybe not through their own fault, but the thing is, they don't know, they never knew. When I was a young lad, we tried to do what we knew was right. You know, they were great farmers, and they worked hard, and they hadn't much, but they were big families, and they tried to grow them strong and straight. And a lot of them I know is strong and straight. You know, good marriages, and decent people. But the cattle and the livestock, you have to. There was a need. It's not that, as I will say, it's not that we were just stocking here and buying a lot of cattle and trying to make money. Trying desperately to make money. Well, I can tell you for sure, I'm a farming man, not a lot. I love the land. It's not my first love. That flower I talked about was my first love, and always would be. But the animals was my second love. So I'll tell you about that. When we were young, we looked after, I always tried to do the best I can. You look after your animals, because they're most important to you if you totally live on the land. And there was one time a cow was very special because you had a sucker milk. And a pig was very special because you had bacon of your own. And so on, a turkey or a chicken or whatever livestock you had. And I seen people grieving over losses of them because they were very essential when it was a big family. You understand that? It wasn't just throw them in the kennels or whatever and carry on. I seen people grieving over losses in the time. You understand? The cow gone was a big loss to a young family. Yeah. And maybe no money to replace it. And have to get a sup of milk from a neighbour or something, and young small kids need milk. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And they need nourishment. So you have to look after your animals. And I say you do to them and they'll do to you. If you look after them, they'll look after you. That's the way I see it. You know? And your pigs the same. And they're entitled to a life, and they're not entitled to be tied up and stalled and forced. Mm. This is the thing I don't like. And I'll try and explain why I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try and understand about this. It's my opinion about all this. If you force an animal, to say, all as I know, it was always said, forced prayer is bad devotion. And I'd like to elaborate on that now and say that if you force your animal, well, you're not going to get the quality. You're not going to get the good product. I don't see how you could. You know? And, greed is this is a sin of greed, I think. It's a sin of greed, because for the simple reason is, if I go out and I have a situation here, if I'm feeding beef, I have to have it in under 30 months. The rule says 30 months. I can never understand that. And I can never understand if you haven't flavour of beef, it's not mature beef. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And you need that rim on the beef to cook it and whatever. It needs to be there. You cook it there and you can take it out of the pot. If you don't like to eat it, and you leave it at one side, and you can skim it off the pot. Do you understand? But it needs to be there to flavour it and cook it. That's only my opinion now. I'm talking, this is all my opinion. So we have to try and do something about this. And if there's farming men out there knows I'm right, stand together, be united, and do it for the honourable reason. You know, if you know what honourable reason is, do it for your own life. And so you'll be healthy. And most important, whatever you produce, don't be trying to produce it as much organically as possible. And don't be to think about what you're at with sprays and chemicals and nitrogen and force and things. And try and be reasonable. And oftentimes I think about farmers here, and I often say, and I make it up, and I try to make it out. I'm not a very educated man, figure-wise, but I could make a lot of things up in my head. And I figure out here that less can be often more. Better quality, less stock. And a lot of farmers here is not dependent on farming. They have jobs and they have incomes coming from elsewhere. And why not try and produce a lot of honest stock? But I know small farmers, some of them do. And there's feedlots here now, the force. And this housewife, this young housewife, she isn't educated to the fact that the source of the milk, it's the young generation, yes, the kids, where do you get beef? It's in some of these special stores, it's on the shelf. Where do you get milk? It's on the shelf.
Yeah.
We get it in such a store. They don't really know where it comes from, or how it's processed, or what additives is in it, or what good is it. It tells on a label. But listen, the true blue is the best thing to use, in my opinion. We were all reared on it, strong and straight from the cow, nourishing, mother's milk, straight on. Nothing additives, nothing put in it. And it seemed to me there's an awful lot of greed here. People trying to make money out of a product and whirl it around and stretch it out. And I feel it's a bad way to go on. And you come along and you hear stories about young kids dying and young kids with tumours. And I kind of think, like, if we done the job better, we might have a better country, and sure, we might have there's people out there might understand what I'm talking. The housewife might really understand where it's coming from, where the badness is coming out for young kids. It's a very sad thing if you're in a hospital and see a room full of kids. There could be anyone's. There could be mine, yours, or anyone else's. And it's very sad to see that they're there with tubes and this out of them. But they're all happy children. And tomorrow the mothers and fathers is off work and they're standing there and they're standing against a wall and they're watching these kids playing around. And the grief is there. They know tomorrow they mightn't be there. It's a heartbreaking situation. Like, would you not think so?
Oh, definitely, yes.
And it's 2 bad and 3 bad now. And I'd like to think that there's a lot of good people out there and see what's going wrong and try and get this sorted. The hospitals is full of problems and they seem to not be able to sort them. And there's more in demand for hospitals really in this country than anything else. Would you not think so? So it's time to reverse it. I say to my friends, people come and share it to me at night, and I always say, it's time to reverse the charge and take from them that took from us. They're not none of your bunch of takers. A hell crowd. And the place for them is hell. Are you with me or are you not? I'll stand with any man here that's man enough to be a man. And if you feel you're a man, you'll be standing with me. And if you're a coward, you won't be standing. And I won't want to know you. I don't want to know you. You're not worth knowing. I'll isolate you. And so should you now, Paul. And any man that's man enough. That's my view of life. I could go on and on about different situations.
Yeah.
I could go on, there's deadly sins. There's gluttony. There's another one, eating too much. You sin to your own body, eat too much. And you do destruction. And you got it free. And you're entitled to look out for it. And mind it. But you don't. We know, in all fairness, youth must have its fling, and young people will grow up and will do reckless things. But never turn your back on them. Young people will make mistakes. And I would never. They'll do little mistakes. They won't do serious injuries. But they'll do wrong and they're up in court and for different offences. And listen, they're ashamed. And you know we meeting them, they're ashamed. But I wouldn't condemn them. They have to learn. Learn and making mistakes, you learn. And if you have a bit of shame and a bit of respect for yourself, you won't do it again. You're caught and you won't do it again. And I'd meet them there and I'd read about them on the paper and hear local news, and some young people makes mistakes, and I would never turn me back on them. I'd always say, how are you doing? And it means so much. And it's cost no one anything to say. If you meet someone, if I go to the shop, I'll probably always say, hello to everyone, how are you doing? I mightn't even know them. You know, and especially old people. You know, all in life it's so little to do, and it means so much to them to be recognised. They're not finished. You know, it encourages them. And well, so maybe I could go on and on, but sure, if there's a need to go on about the situation, if anyone is interested in other situations, and it might enlighten someone to be honourable in life, and to be a man or to be a woman, you know, and to have everything you have for the right and honourable reasons, and do what you know is right, and you make your own luck be that. That's what it's about. And maybe if we were all try and do what I say, we might have better weather, to be honest with you. I could do it. I want to make a lot of square bales of hay for my sheep. And I'm waiting here all year. And I hope and I pray that maybe you might get something out of it. And I wish everyone the best of luck and abundant luck. And I'll say, do what you know is right. That's all I know. Give fair play and get fair play. That's what I'm about. And the best of luck again.
Thanks, Matt, for that.
Good man.
Now, if you'd like to keep in touch with other views that Matt has, keep tuning into this channel. Thank you.
That's good. Well, if there's a necessity someone might need to know, I'll elaborate if I can.
So we stop that and save. You have to save that to your phone first. I don't know how long it will take to save.
So we hear that now before you go on.
Just so long.
You can go on, can't it? You're an honourable man, you know what can go on. So I said